So then parts, that's the tube attached at the back. I made my own ribbed plastic card for that. That's the EMA ladder on. This fella here, which is the central prong there, because this is or was hollow with just that rim of plastic, that's not much in the way of attachment onto that bit there. So as you can see, I filled it with, or at least this end, I filled with P38, rubbed it down, drilled a hole. So that's actually going to be attached in there like so. All right, and then well, talking parts, this is my little box of parts that I need. That's a new acquisition, and boy, that was pricey. 1/24 scale Mustang. Got me that machine gun and something else in there. Oh yeah, that fella. I'll be pointing these out as I attach them. And various other bits and pieces. This bit is going to be difficult because I don't know what the heck it is. Just as I thought I was cracking on as well. Rear tube has been taken off, and the reason for that is I thought I had that in central location, and the parts that fit along the top went nicely horizontally from there across onto there, all well and good, until I went to stick that bit on the underside, and in the photos it's horizontal, but mine, it was like that, and I suspected what the culprit was, and it turns out I was right. This tube is not big enough. It's exactly the right length, but the diameter is wrong. And I found that out yesterday when I placed all the parts along the top. I've got more parts than when I first started constructing this pipe, like the Mustang machine gun and stuff. And the space in between them on this diameter pipe is not big enough. Therefore, this pipe isn't big enough. This is a 33.1mm pipe. The next one up in EMA's catalogue is 38.1, and I think that's the one. The next one up from that is like 44, and that's going to be too big. So I've had to rip this off, order another pipe, and unfortunately order another ladder as well. So yeah, this little build is on hold for a little while. I might add the shuttle cowls down at that end while I'm waiting for it to arrive. Well, I never did put the shuttle cowls on down here. Instead, while I was waiting, I just busied myself with some Games Workshop figures. But here we go. New tube is attached. I knew it was on its way, and my friend Andy, the actual day it arrived while I was at work, he was messaging me, and he had heard back from Matt Irvin, and he had said that this was 1.5 inch pipe, which in metric is 38.1. So I knew when it arrived that bingo, got a match. So there we go. As you can see, I've cut him out, stuck him on. This is an ABS pipe, by the way. For some reason, and I don't know if it's just temporary, but the old pipe, there's a difference in sizes. The old pipe, this is ABS, grey ABS plastic. For some reason, EMA still do ABS tubing, but not in that size. So I've had to use this stuff, which Beauty Rain, something like that it's called, which is perfectly fine. It's a bit thicker than ABS, so a bit more effort to cut, but it's fine. Plastic cement doesn't work on it, but super glue does, and boy, it does it instantly. So you have to be very careful when you place something on that you're going to be right first time. And the other development, the next stage, is just put these caps on the end. All right, now hang on, let me get my photos like that. Talk amongst yourself. That's not the right photo, because look, at this point one of popped off. You can just about see it there. Hang on a second, I'm just trying to find the... It's only available in one shot I've got. But yeah, can you see there? You've got this blanking disc, but there's something going on there. There's a little notch. Can you see it? I think that's something off of something. I don't know what. But I've decided to just make my own, which are here. And what I've done to make these, rather than waste, excuse me, rather than waste plastic card, I just drew a dummy one out and slowly started cutting that out like so. When I was happy with how it went, I just put that underneath it and drew the thing and cut it out. So next thing is attach them, and then I can start yeah, reattaching kit parts. So there we go. I've remade that piece, which is that piece. That'll do, that'll do. That's a fair approximation in my mind. So yeah, that's on. Hovercraft piece there. That bit, did I say before, are actually the traffic lights that are on the side of the dapole girder bridge thing. All right, so that's in place. I've put on a representation of that plate as well. This little fella, this shape here, I found a close match in the Mustang kit. I don't think it's quite right because there's a pouring lug, or there was something else attached to it. You can see it just there where the paint's scraped off. My friend Andy says either it's a different part, or maybe because this is a grey plastic, this is the reissue, the FX reissue of the Mustang. So it could be that that is just minus the pouring lug. The big question is, what's that piece and that piece? And Andy's been asking Matt Irvin, and he thinks they could be from an anime kit, which, you know, they started coming out in like 1980 onwards. So I haven't got a chance in finding them. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to make up a facsimile. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold them off. I'm just not going to put anything there. If in future it comes to light just what these are, I'll get one, paint it separately and glue it on. I mean, this is the underside. I'm not really going to really be looking at the underside. Speaking of which, the other things to be done to the underside is, underneath this shape, you've got one of the hinge sleeves, these fellas, all right, which goes there, and that's all that remains of an Airfix aircraft stand. But I'll be putting the landing gear, because I guess that's what it is, I'll be putting the landing gear on at the very end just before painting. All right, talking about the hinge sleeve, there we are, that's the end. I guess this is the propulsion unit, isn't it? There's the Saturn V engine half, and there's the hinge sleeve. I'm sure Matt didn't go, you know what this engine needs? It needs a hinge sleeve. Matt told me that they were just sent boxes and boxes of parts from EMA. They very often didn't even know what they were for. They just found interesting looking shapes. So I guess he found a few of those, and it's like, yeah, I'll put that on, a bit of curvy detail. All right, so with that done, I can flip it over and start working on the top half. The next thing I'm going to do is just put this thing on. You see this shape which runs all the way along here, just underneath the ladder, which is there. So it goes there like that. That's actually from the Mustang kit. It's one of the few pieces from the Mustang kit that I needed. So I'm going to put that on. Then what I'm going to do is, as I say, I'm going to flip him over and I'm going to work from the front backwards. So I'm going to put the Space Shuttle engine shrouds on and the Saturn V tower spike things on there, and then I'm going to slowly work backwards and then get to the very interesting bit, which is detailing all that area up.